Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing what are the dangers of rites and ceremonies? Rites and ceremonies don't seem all that dangerous. In fact, they actually seem necessary. How can a church grow without traditions? How can a group of people not develop certain habits over time? However, like any good thing, these practices can harm people's faith if they aren't handled properly, so today we'll learn how following traditions can sometimes pose a threat to our worship of God. One problem with traditions is that they can take over a person's life. For example, the Torah didn't actually say much about what you could and couldn't do on the Sabbath. One of the few specific commandments was that you couldn't kindle fire, according to Exodus chapter 35 verse 3. Nonetheless, later rabbinical tradition basically prevented people from doing literally anything on that particular day of the week. For example, the Pharisees criticized Jesus for healing someone on the Sabbath in Mark chapter 3 verses 1 to 6, even though the end of the person's sickness would let him better observe other laws. Another problem with rites and ceremonies is that they can make faith rather mechanical. Just like a factory worker does simple tasks without thinking because they've done them so many times, Christians can participate in church activities without actually reflecting on their relationship with God, because they've participated over and over again. The Pharisees were especially guilty of this. Jesus told them, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone." Matthew chapter 23, verse 23. There was supposed to be a connection between tithing and various Christian virtues, but since tithing had become solely physical, the connection to the spiritual virtues had been lost. However, one of the biggest problems with rites and ceremonies is that they are a good way for hypocrites to enter the faith. They can gain the respect and community that come from belonging to a church without actually believing in the meaning of the traditions. If there are enough of them in the group, they can eventually ruin the entire church. For example, in 2 Chronicles chapter 24 verses 1 to 14, Jehoash obeyed the Lord when Jehoiada the priest was alive because Jehoiada gave him the instructions and Jehoash simply had to carry them out. However, when he died, Jehoash introduced the country to paganism, because without his mentor, he had to actively participate in God's plan, and he never really believed in it to begin with. Instead, he started listening to the princes of Judah, who were also hypocrites. If hypocrites don't end up weakening the faith, then soulless worship will start to corrupt them, and they'll start to forget the little they knew about the meaning of those traditions, which they need in order to be saved. As it was said in 2 Corinthians, it is he who made us capable of serving the new covenant, which consists not of a written law but of the Spirit. The written law brings death, but the Spirit gives life. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 6 according to the Good News Bible. Traditions won't actually endanger you, but they can pull focus away from the beliefs that will actually save you. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. What are the dangers of rites and ceremonies? They can take over people's lives, they can make faith mechanical, and they are a good way for hypocrites to enter the faith. Thank you for listening! Don't forget to like and subscribe!